Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Tucker Tuesday. Sorry for the little bit of the late jump on it. I had some IRL stuff I had to do that took me a little bit longer than I anticipated. But we're here and we're gonna hit this shit hard. How is everyone doing out there tonight? Happy Tuesday. Let's see who we got hanging out. Advocates, J. Kate, Jonathan, hello, Fake Gamer Cat, Shiru, Bookworm, Kiro, Shadowclaw, Gay Frogs, Colonel Sanders, Fake Gamer Cat, hello. I think I said your name already. Oh, damn. You guys are all talking to each other. I'm not even getting hellos. Y'all are just yip-yapping to each other. Frank Cat, Big Dave, Eric, Cannibalistic Wizard. Oh, okay. Hello, hello, hello. We're gonna really just jump right into it because I already started late. I had shit I have to do. What can you do? What can you do? But just do the liking and the sharing and all that stuff. The liking, the sharing, the stuff listed down below, etc., etc.
If you've been following at all the Hunter Biden laptop story, you may remember the following news item, which appeared for a day or two a couple of years ago.
We're going to start, and it's funny because I just reset the stream goal, but we're going to start with Hunter Biden stuff and his doctor getting raided by the FBI. So I guess Eat the Crackheads has like two different fucking meanings now. The scumfucks stole my tool bag, and Hunter, the second class citizen, or first class. We're second class citizens compared.
In February of 2020, a man called Dr. Keith Ablow, who's a psychiatrist and was a fixture for years on Fox News, had his home office raided by the DEA.
The Drug Enforcement Agency is now giving doctors a house call.
And during that raid, the DEA took Hunter Biden's laptop and did not return it to Dr. Keith Ablow. Well, apparently, Dr. Ablow had been treating Hunter Biden in a year or two before, and the laptop was in his office, and they took it. They also
It was Hunter that stole your toolbox, probably.
took his guns. The state of Massachusetts took all of Keith Ablow's guns from his home. Now, the interesting thing is, and never returned those either, Dr. Keith Ablow has never been convicted of a crime. So what was this?
He wasn't even arrested.
Now, we knew Dr. Keith Ablow just from working in cable news, and it's taken us until now to call him, ask him to come on and explain, what was this? First of all, you're treating Hunter Biden. Second, you had his laptop in your house. Third, the DEA, which is not, we didn't think, authorized to take laptops out of people's homes, it took Hunter Biden's laptop and didn't give it back. What is this? Dr. Keith
That just sounds like theft.
Ablow joins us now. Doctor, thanks so much for coming on.
Hunter, thanks for having me.
Well, so this whole conversation was based on this. I read this in the newspaper one day, and I've been thinking for the last couple of years, like, what was that? And I don't know the answer. I know that you can't, common sense would suggest, talk about the details of your treatment of Hunter Biden because HIPAA laws exist even after COVID. But to the extent you can you explain what this was?
Well, I can't explain why these things were ever taken or why I would be raided, right?
Okay.
But I can tell you that the laptop was one of the items.
That is true, Jen said. The feds have never been a stranger to theft.
That was
See, taxes.
taken from my possession, and I never figured out why the DEA would come to my office. I efforted the return of Mr. Biden's laptop to him through my attorney, interacting with the DEA, because that's the responsible thing to do, right? Which is, by the way, why Kevin Morris's theory that Keith Ablow is the source of the laptop originally, he's the leak, is absurd.
Wait, can you just unpack this a little
Yeah.
bit? Because it was, I mean, I just knew you from working for the same company for several years. And I was shocked to learn, or at least read, that you were treating Hunter Biden. So he was a patient of yours.
Ooh.
Look what I got here.
Hey, where are the white women at?
name?
Our country is so corrupt. Oh, yeah. Dude, of course. Yeah. First, Hyacinth and chat, and welcome, Stream Boss. Hold on. No. Damn. There we go. Welcome, Stream Boss Fustonia. Thank you very much, sir. I don't leave my laptop at my doctor's house. It's weird. I mean, there's a lot of things to question about this. But the fact that the feds just took it is like number one on my list. Why was it there? Why did the feds get a search warrant and take it and then not convict or arrest you of any crime? Like, there's a lot of questions going on here. But, you know, it's okay. Got to eat those crackheads. Thank you, Fustonia, bringing us 5% to goal.
Yes, over the years I've treated, as you might know, very prominent people, cabinet members and others. You know, illness is a common language. Once you're suffering with something badly,
Yes.
it doesn't matter what your politics are. And Hunter Biden sought care despite the fact that I was the first one on national television back in 2012 to say that his dad might well be suffering with dementia. It was during the vice presidential debates when Joe Biden was running for vice president. I said, I don't know. I think to my eye that he has signs of dementia. And I was roundly criticized and beat up. And I said that on our former employer's air.
And that was 12 years ago.
So it would be thought of as curious.
Sending out good vibes to everyone, even the feds in the chat. Fair enough, Fustonia.
It's very curious.
That he would seek out care from me. But on the other hand, it is really true. Like when you're in the trenches,
Of course.
you go to the person that you think can help. And you leave everything else at the door, as your healer would. So for those who leaned on me, having heard that I had been treating him, and my God, you had his laptop, you didn't give it to anyone?
Wait, but I just
That
just to how
isn't
you
done
connected
either.
with Hunter Biden, of all psychiatrists in the United States, and there are quite a few, do you have any idea how he wound up calling you?
That is a damn good question. When I went into work yesterday, a crackhead tried to sell me an electric mower. I said no, but I asked if he had a toolbox. Thanks for the lookout, Colt. Much appreciated, buddy. You the best.
It was by referral. And, you know, this is a closed, well, it's not. It's an open network of folks who have descended in my town. I have a cottage next to mine. They've made use of that.
Whoops. That's kind of neat that this guy gets referrals and like he deals with the more famous types. That's kind of neat.
Times in order to heal. And
Okay, so you have effectively a guest house
that's
that
right.
people suffering
Oh, that's how we got the laptop. There we go.
from.
Zed the Snarky for 777, no comment, but that is the official kickoff of the Awoo train. That is 2. Let's get that train a-rolling.
Probably addiction, I would think, or
Addiction,
other problems.
depression, wanting to write new chapters of their life stories, metaphorically speaking, have spent time there. It's very private, etc. Of course, not so private if you.
You know, we were talking about it yesterday. Today was another one of those things where I'm working on this project that I got. And I went and I rebuilt my toolbox to the best of my memory. And go figure, 15 minutes into this project, I'm like, oh, fuck. I don't have wire strippers. So I had to get in the car, go down to fucking Harbor Freight, get wire strippers, go back home. I was like, fuck, I don't have a crescent wrench. And Viper said crescent wrench yesterday, and I still forgot. And I had to get back in the car, go down to Harbor Freight, get a crescent wrench, go back home.
You end up going out to dinner many times, as we did in our town. And if you're a person.
You and Hunter Biden.
That's right, yeah.
It's just wild. I don't know what to. I mean, I knew Hunter Biden because he was my neighbor, which is kind of weird, but we live near each other, so not that weird. But I just can't. Did you think it was strange when Hunter Biden called you?
Man, not really, because
I would think that if you are in this line of work, that it doesn't really matter who calls you, you're gonna do the job.
again, I've had people that I've wanted to help and very gratified to be able to help who have come from far and wide, and sometimes with very different opinions than mine. You know, I was also the first one.
3. Lady Monteceros, that would be great, Zed. What? Uh-oh, what am I missing? What would be great? Oh, wouldn't it be funny if Fostonia was dethroned by an Awoo train? That's up to you guys. You're 3 on the train already.
To say on national television that transgenderism was a very bad idea and that folks shouldn't let their kids watch Chaz Bono on Dancing with the Stars. I said, don't let your kids watch. And then Megyn Kelly said, I was spreading hate. Now she's walked back those kinds of ideas. But
HP hits are massive tonight. 3 times 8, basically. It's not far off from where it should be.
I've had transgender people come to me for help with depression or terrible anxiety or horrible delusions. Once you need help, that's the equalizer. That brings things
Yeah, no, that's roughly where it should be.
to equilibrium. And without, getting too narcissistic, and I have that, tendency, I think I'm pretty good at it, right? And I love doing it. And I love the fact that you don't have to think politically. You don't have to think about someone's past. I've worked with...
This guy seems salesman genuine is the way I would word it. Like, he is talking about his profession, but it seems like he genuinely enjoys what he does, if that makes sense.
Serial killers, right? I worked with the guy who tried to kill me when I first visited him in prison. Why? Because in the end, people have the capacity to be good. It's miraculous, and I love that it's in fact connected to God, that when you use empathy to get to the bottom of someone's real story and heal them, I don't know how to explain that.
But I couldn't agree more. Amen.
I don't know what that is, and it's not located exclusively in the brain, because that's like saying, well, I know about novels because they're in laptops.
Canadian.
No, you don't. The brain is like the laptop. Every experience a person has had
You knew about
from
it?
birth affects that
You know about
individual.
it?
And unpacking that for someone, giving them back their story, is incredibly powerful. So if someone came to me addicted to crack cocaine,
If it's not exclusively located in the brain, then it's in the balls. Nice.
and said, I had horrible experiences as a child, terribly traumatic experiences. And, some are known about Hunter Biden, so I'm not breaking confidence here. If you're in a car and your mother and sister are killed while you're in the back seat,
Yes.
you got a lifetime of struggle in front of you.
For sure.
That's the best case, right? If you're not a serial killer, you get a B- in the Ablow School of Psychiatry,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And coming to understand everything
Isn't it a conflict of interest? I don't think that really applies to doctors too much.
from that point forward in your life can free you to do new things. And though there are cynics out there who would say that the man's art is a farce and that he has no talent, I would say, why should that be the case? Why can't you find yourself as an artist later in life? And why say that the things that person creates are worth less? I'd like to have one. I can't do it. I can't do what he does. So, in any case, right? I mean, so that's the way in which I don't like their politics. They are anathema to me. I think Joe
Bidens.
The Bidens. I think
Yeah.
Joe Biden. I think it would be mass delusion to suggest that Joe Biden is not compromised by other governments. I think that would be mass delusion. But if any one of the Bidens came and said, I need help, I'd say, let's go. right?
Well, that's your job. That's what
That's
you're
your
supposed
calling.
to do. Yeah.
It's a calling, and it's been a privilege to do that for people.
It seems, again, without asking you about any of the details of your treatment of Hunter Biden, it sounds like when you stopped treating him,
He became a full-on crackhead that needs to be yeet. Sorry.
I think this is right. The authorities went after your medical license, they took your guns, and the DEA raided your house. Is that correct?
That is fucking bonkers. Like, you're going to do this, and if you stop doing it for whatever reason, yeah, the federal government's going to come fuck your shit up, buddy, and there's not a thing you can do about it. Your guns, no fucking nothing. All those rights you thought you had, ha.
Well, they were after my medical
Your rights given up for a fucking crackhead.
license a little before that, but well, no, that's not. You're right. That's right. It coincided with the end of his treatment, that there was that kind of intense, interest in depriving me of my license. By the way, I've been to court twice. I won both times. As to the malpractice things, one was a malpractice tribunal in Massachusetts. I won. Second was an assistant of mine, a former assistant, who said he harassed me. I won. Once one article like that goes in the paper, though, the local paper, in this case, the Salem News, people line up. I've treated thousands of people. And
I would never take ham and beans guns. Thanks. Nice.
even during...
So wait, you're saying there was a witch hunt in Salem?
There was a witch hunt in Salem. Exactly. And the...
I may or may not have heard something about a hunt in Salem having to do with witches.
Truth is, you have to take a hard look at Massachusetts courts, as my lawyer said. He said, Keith, we might win 5 times. But if the jury nullifies the truth in one of those cases, you could be penniless. I settled a few cases because, I don't know, maybe God's saying because you didn't have the cojones. I don't know. But I wanted some safety for my family.
I get it. How, I think this is relevant to over 100 million Americans. How can the authorities take your guns without ever, and not return them without?
That seems like, what's the word? Disarmament. Violation of amendment rights.
Ever convicting you of anything?
A disgruntled former assistant said he doesn't store them the right way.
But sure, people make all kinds of claims. I have no idea how you stored them. I know nothing about it.
But is that a federal offense to not store your guns the right way? Like, I feel like if I'm in my house and I don't have, if I didn't have like kids and shit that could get into them, I can just leave my fucking AR-15 on the table. I can just put my AK-47 out on my nightstand.
I just thought that under our system, you had to be convicted before being punished.
Well,
okay, 20 minutes in this time, and I remembered. Guys, we have one more McKinley package ready to go out at a moment's notice. We have the Knights of the Awoo tier down below, brand new. And if we can get halfway on the bar, we get a horse cock, and if we can fill it up, we get a Pinky song. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, you had Eduardo Bolsonaro on your broadcast. I thought it was a brilliant interview. Not so much.
Not so much.
Not
okay.
so much, because you think to yourself, I'm in Massachusetts. They say if I won't give them the guns, they'll arrest me. I had kids at that time, younger kids. They're older now, a little bit younger, and so I thought, well, I'll get them back. Eventually, I'll get them back. I'm a tough guy. I'll get them.
The minute Sin's out of the house, I know what he's doing. I'm just taking all my guns out and just laying them around the house.
Back, and likely I will at some point, but no, they've never given them back. They never had a reason to take them. I've never been convicted of a crime. I've never misused my guns. So I was disarmed. I was then raided, sued multiple times,
Oof.
and I've never committed a crime.
How did Hunter Biden's laptop wind up in your office or house?
Well, I think the texts and emails that exist would prove out that, he leaves laptops places.
Yeah.
Right. And despite my saying to him, pick it up, dude, like along with your Loro Piana clothes, because they're my size and I might wear them.
Yeah.
Or keep them. He didn't. And so there it was. And it was taken.
So you knew it was in your house?
Oh, yeah. It was locked up.
And you told him you left your laptop at my place, pick it up, and he didn't?
Correct. Multiple times.
And so what happened next? I mean, did you look at the laptop?
No.
Well, it was a Hunter Biden laptop. I don't know if it was the Hunter Biden laptop.
Never. That's why this theory from Hunter's pal and benefactor, his lawyer, Kevin Morris, is absurd, because they could open it up. He has it back, and they could do some sort of forensic look at it. Not only did I never open the lid, I never turned it on. I have no interest in looking at somebody's private
Well,
stuff.
you were his shrink, so you would know his secrets anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's...
Yeah. Kind of, I don't have to look at his laptop to know his secrets, and his secrets are safe with me, which is why if you have a lawyer, I've said this before, if you have a lawyer who represents you and you allow that lawyer to suggest that your shrink is a scumbag, then I give you a diagnosis additionally besides cocaine dependence, which is scumbag.
Yeah.
Right? Because that I made clear to a few people who suggested you should have turned it over. Look what you had. You could have helped America. No, you don't understand. This is sacred. This is like a blood oath. If you think I'm going to be on my deathbed and look my kids in the eyes and say, well, I was the one who made it kind of confidential when you go to a psychiatrist. Like, I'm willing to die for that. I'm not breaking confidentiality with a patient ever. That's like one of those tripwires where if someone said to you, how do you hope to die? If you had to pick a way, I'd say, well, it would be standing up for a principle. And
how many laptops does a crackhead have? I guess as many as he can steal. Also, if he's rich a lot, if that answers your question.
Losing my life over it. If I had to pick, that's a principle that I'd say it's worth.
I get it.
It's worth it.
I agree with you very strongly on that. Yes, that's.
I know you do. I mean,
so
otherwise you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, of course, especially in middle age. Like, you don't need to do it. But can I ask about the DEA? I thought the DEA existed to keep El Chapo in check. How did that work? They show up at your place, and do they say, by the way, do you have any of Joe Biden's kids' stuff here?
Nope. Here's how it happened. Never talked about it before. So, but I'm here with you.
Yes, I'm grateful.
You make it easy. No, somebody booked an appointment to come see me for help. It wasn't an appointment coming to see me for help. It was the DEA coming with armed agents.
What? Did they raid him? Well, I guess I could just let him talk and we'll figure it out. But I'm curious if they raided him.
What?
Oh,
you thought it was a patient? And
I thought it was a patient.
Armed federal agents?
Armed federal agents knocking on the door. I walked downstairs. In order to deal with my own anxiety, which is real, I said, does anyone want coffee? No, we can't have coffee. We can't accept that. It's like, well, that's unfortunate and sort of not very warm of you, but what are you here for? Please, let's just get our work done. So, they go.
But they didn't tell you why they were there?
No, they have a warrant, and they go through everything, my sock drawer, et cetera. And they take everything they want, and they take all your business computers. They took my therapy notes on my therapy. Okay? This is like an Eagleton thing. We're going back sometime here,
yeah.
Right? And keep it for years. Returned it only recently. Kept it for, 4 years? 3-4 years. Returned it only recently, and looked through everything, and I've committed no.
That's a good point, Zed. That Hunter can probably just get like a crate of them from his Chinese hookups, But you guys did very well knocking Fostonia down to half HP with the Awoo train. Can we take him out in one train? Can we have a train tonight? Did you know that you can get 100 Awoos in one go? Etc., etc.
Crime, and there won't be a criminal charge against me. It leaves you
So
wondering
on what
what the
grounds
heck.
well, yeah, I mean, that's why I wanted to talk to you. What the hell is this?
Part of the American legal system, as my lawyer explained to me, I said, well, let's look at the subpoena. He said, that we can only do that if they file a suit against you. I said, well, really? I can't examine what they presented to a judge to be able to come to my office without there being litigation? That's right.
I think you're right, Ham and Beans. The process is the punishment. They're making it so it's such a rigmarole that it's not even worth engaging in. That would be my guess.
Well, that's
Hey, Baba
a
Yaga.
problem.
A
right?
problem? So it's like a star chamber and you don't get to know what you've been accused of.
You don't get to know what you've been accused of. Obviously, someone.
I need about Treefiddy.
I'm a.
Ravon, I'm broke right now, son. I hope this helps. Is there anything going up on the Creepsin channel? Dude, I have a couple of stories that I'm looking at, but I have been so busy and just honestly, I'm not even gonna like make two ways about it. I have been severely lacking motivation to do anything more than I'm already doing on top of all this other stuff that I've got going on. So maybe sometime soon, but it's all time, buddy. It's all time.
A Trump supporter in Massachusetts. I should dig a moat around my office, right? I should have like fire-breathing dragons around the office. But they were clearly there to cause me trouble. I mean, here's a funny story. So one of the agents takes out of my desk a vial. The vial has blue powder in it. He looked at me, he says, Doc. I said,
Awoo's cost 1/3 of a Big Mac.
it's a long story. He said, it always is.
I think one or two more Awoo should take out Fostonia. That should take you out.
I said, you see that carved bear on my desk? He said, yeah. I said, well, that carved stone bear was given to me by a Native American chief that I treated. And he said, if I feed it ground up turquoise stone, that I will get courage from the bear. And that there's what you have in your hand. I said, by the way, the bear doesn't really eat it. It's a metaphor. And I said, but maybe you take it and you test it. And he said, no, even you couldn't come up with that fast.
It's too weird to be fake.
Right? It's too weird to be fake. But when a Native American chief gives you a bear and says, feed it turquoise stone ground up, that's what you do, right? You don't want to mess with that kind of juju.
Yeah, you feed it. You feed the bear.
That's crazy. So they never explained what they were doing there. And
Never explained.
They have guns, you don't.
They have guns, you don't. I
Not anymore.
texted Roger Stone, and I said, man, me, you, and Trump raided. Who doesn't get raided? And because he's Roger Stone, he texted right back, the bad guys.
Yeah. He's right. Unfortunately, he's right. So, and then how did they get Hunter Biden's laptop at that point? So they're going through your house, presumably.
Going through my house, they're like, unlock everything, open everything, unlock everything, open everything. And they take that along with other things. They took my laptop. They took my cell phone. And cell phones and old cell phones. And so that was one of the items. And then I immediately called my lawyer and I said, look, a patient's item was taken amongst the things that were mine. It has a sticker on it. It looks different than mine. It's messy. Mine are clean. Yes, it was messy. We have to get it back to him because that's not okay. And that's what we did.
Did they ask for Hunter Biden's laptop, or did they just sweep it up?
No, they just swept it up.
Did they know it was his? Did you tell him?
Didn't tell him.
And yet they returned it to him.
That is a goddamn good point. Wow. Oh, I want a Shamrock Shake. Get me one. Give me a Shamrock Shake. I want one.
Yes, they did.
Well, how did that happen?
Holy fuck, I really want a Shamrock Shake. Well, do you think I can text Shelly and ask her to get me a Shamrock Shake? Do you think she'd get me one?
Well, you know, I mean, I did
try
suggest that would be the right thing for them to do. They could have made a different
Sham Rock Shake and Booby Fix. All right, we'll see how it goes.
decision given that he was under investigation federally, but they didn't. And so that's their business as to why not. But, you know, it sort of put me in a funny position because I had guys like Garrett Ziegler, who's a...
Dude, the Shamrock Shake is so good. I feel like I've had more ice cream-esque products. Oh, I'm home, so no to the first thing. Ooh, maybe I'll get a yes to the second thing. I've had more ice cream-esque products in the past, 2 weeks since the Shamrock Shake's been out than, the past full year put together.
You know, a far-right guy saying, Keith Ablow must be in business selling drugs with Hunter Biden.
And you can get a Shamrock Shake at Streamlabs.com, listed down below for $7.77. Okay, I got boobies, but I still want a Shamrock Shake.
He wouldn't turn over that laptop. He had it all this time. Well, no, it's patient.
All right, nice rack. Please? Shamrock Shake? Oh, it auto-corrected to shampoo. I don't want a shampoo shake. I want a Shamrock Shake.
Confidentiality.
Well, and by the way, when you had that laptop, I mean, of course, no one knew you had it. No one knew you were treating Hunter Biden, maybe outside of Salem. But you were raided, and that laptop was taken months before before I heard the story that the laptop existed. I mean, we first got its contents in October of 2020, and this was February of 2020.
Right. And so, yeah, no idea as to
go get an ice cream cake from Dairy Queen. No.
Motive.
I just want a Shamrock Shake. No, I'm not going out again. Will you go there and bring home something delicious, though? No.
Agenda. Again, I mean, I did have a disgruntled former employee, maybe one who thinks the laptop had nothing to do with it, would say, well, maybe that person told them that you were selling drugs. They raided a pharmacy in my town at the same time in Newburyport, Mass. Again, no charges. It's run by a very nice guy, Lewis. He's about 80.
Your phone thinks you want soapy titties. I mean, I never don't. But that's not what I was trying to convey.
85. But in any case,
did anyone apologize to you?
No, no, and it's not necessarily over. They never say, "Oh, by the way, sorry," and you have a clean bill. And
wait, so they can just show up with guns at your house, not explain why they're there.
That's right.
Steal all your stuff, and then never charge you, much less convict you, and then it just kind of hangs over your head.
It hangs over your head, and if I had called my lawyer prior to this, he would have said, absolutely not. You are not going on Tucker Carlson's show.
Oh, yeah, fake gamer cat?
Because, as you know, you're still under federal investigation, right? And so any doctor in America, if you said, did you ever wonder whether you can call in prescriptions around the country for pharmacies, would say, I don't know, I've done it. Is that a bad thing if they fill it? But if they find out that any single doctor did that, for instance, they can make a beef about it. So,
well, you want to make a beef about it, huh? We got to make a beef.
This is a way to shut people up, right? Because anybody, right, can be messed with. As Ben Carson said at the prayer breakfast years ago, if I wanted to get you or you or you, I could do it. He meant the IRS. But there are lots of other ways.
Oh, they're going to get you no matter what. If they want you, they're going to get you, as we can see clearly.
And the reason I'm here, aside from the fact that you are the patriot you are, and we were friends back at our former employer.
I just want to know when this just became something that we accepted with no... Well, I know exactly when January 6th happened and we weren't allowed to protest, so never mind.
Employer is that I don't like being shut up.
Good.
And it's one of those moments where you think, man, it's safer not to, really safer. But then you got to live with yourself. And that's complicated.
I mean, Zach, if that's what it comes down to, all of us will, but still.
So if you allow yourself to be shut up, as most Americans will learn sooner or later, you got to make a choice.
Fake Gamer Cat is not only talking a lot of shit in the chat, but she said we can get Shamrock Shakes, so I will expect one immediately in my Twitter.
Right? Whether you're going to speak your mind,
Yes.
which is a way of reinforcing yourself. Like the self is connected to God. It's fueled by God. It is God, really, your core, true self. Where did it come from? We don't know. That's good. That means it's incredibly powerful. If you don't speak your mind out of a desire for safety, which I understand, you die a little bit.
Strong.
Yeah. If you don't speak your mind, if you don't say what you mean, it kind of kills you a little bit. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah.
Totally agree. So just listening to you talk, it's like most people, I've got complicated views of psychiatry, and I don't understand it because I'm not a psychiatrist.
I think that's part of the point of psychiatry being what it is that we don't understand it because it's not for us to understand.
But I'm hearing you talk about what's inside a person. It's more than just the sum total of chemical reactions in the brain. You're describing a soul. And that is not a conversation that you hear very often, even from psychiatrists. And Sigmund Freud, whose ideas form the basis of psychiatry globally, is in the West anyway, was at the center of the public conversation even 40 years ago, has been disappeared from history. Can you describe what you think's going on there, the change? I've noticed.
Well, it's not like they're trying to gaslight the entire country and change history or anything. That's no way.
I don't understand it.
Well, you're right. Psychiatrists graduating today,
And by the way, I just have a quick gripe. So, remember how I said there was a tool stolen out of my truck, a brand new tool that I didn't even get to use yet? Shelly was kind enough to go rebuy it for me, so I didn't have to spend the whatever $30 to get it again. And it's a tool that in order to use the part that it comes with, you need to have a weld. You need to have it welded. Like, who the fuck who's just welding shit?
often are never in psychotherapy themselves. Many of them could never perform psychotherapy. Most of them are now doling out their time in 10-minute increments to write prescriptions that match one of 300 or more diagnoses that are in the psychiatry manual, the DSM-5 TR, or whatever it's called now, which neatly fit with insurance company reimbursement for those
A man's tools being stolen is a tragedy. Yeah, a financial tragedy to say the least. Shit cost me fucking a lot of money to replace, and I still haven't replaced everything. And I had the same thought again. I picked up my toolbox. I'm like, man, this still feels really light. What is going on? But nah, what can you do? Some crackhead is out there trying to fence a toolbox full of tools that I've collected for 15 years. He's going to get like maybe 5 grams.
disorders. So all these forces have aligned to
Yeah, but the thing is, like, who just has a welding? Who just has a welding tool in their fucking house?
crush the heart of psychiatry, which is really about restoring the individual to him or herself. That makes psychiatry public enemy number one.
What does that mean, restoring? I feel like you're
Yeah.
saying something very important, so I just want to make sure it's clear what it is.
I want to pull that back because I'll go off on this shit again.
Even 40 years ago has been disappeared from history.
The
Can
national
you
gaslighting,
describe what you
yes.
think's going on there, the change? I've noticed it. I don't understand it.
Well, you're right. Psychiatrists graduating today most often are never in psychotherapy themselves. Many of them could never perform psychotherapy. Most of them are now doling out their time in 10-minute increments to write prescriptions that match one of 300 or more diagnoses that are in the psychiatry manual, the DSM-5 TR, or whatever it's called now, which neatly fit with insurance company reimbursement for those disorders. So all these forces have aligned to crush the heart of psychiatry, which is really about restoring the individual to him or her.
I think part of the issue why these people don't really like psychiatry too much, and I could be way off on this, how much is a portable welder? Like, that shit sounds expensive. But I think part of the reason why they have such a hate boner for psychiatry and all this shit is because it is mostly focused on personal responsibility. And these people hate the idea of personal responsibility. So you, instead of just going, maybe there is personal responsibility, they go, anyone who tells you it's your fault is bad.
Herself. That makes psychiatry public enemy number one.
What does that mean, restoring? I feel like you're
Yeah.
saying something very important, so I just want to make sure it's.
I feel like it doesn't really matter how nice your titties are, fake gamer cat. If that's how you spell great in that context, then we might have some issues.
Clear what it is. What does that mean, restoring a person to himself?
Well, so human beings really do have inborn talents. They have belief
$300
systems that
Who the fuck's got that laying around?
evolve, but they're based upon something very deep. They suffer.
That's more than that's more that's in my checking account right now. Fucking Christ.
Depression, anxiety, all manner of things when their stories are not known to them. When they think of people, let's say, in the family or others or events that unfolded as beneficial to them when they were, say, very bad for them. They need to
Basement people sell.
recast the characters that they thought were the heroes in their lives and say, maybe
2 down wanted. I don't know what that means. I'm late. What did I miss? Oh, not a lot. It's tax season. Oh, that's true. Yeah. I still got to make my tax appointment. Oh, man. I wish I got a return. Anyway, I'm not bitching about this.
not. Maybe when I
Not doing it.
abandoned myself, my interest, to take a common example, maybe when I allowed myself to not pursue that real passion of mine because I wanted to satisfy people around me, maybe that means
I have been all in, though, on... It's funny that this conversation's coming up. I have been all in on welding and woodworking videos lately.
that those people didn't love me as much as I thought they did. Right? Now that's an incredible epiphany when that happens. If a man, for instance, is supposed to be an artist,
Steve Dave, for the loads, I got a mill and lathe. Ooh, I would love one of those. Important for people to get shit out, huh? Well, this has become a survival mission. Chat, smash the fucking like button. The ratio and I depend on it, dipshits. Yes, that's true. You should be smashing the like button and doing all that stuff. Thank you, Steve Dave. Much appreciated, sir.
and he goes around the globe doing deals to create wealth for his family because he's not sure what else to do because that was assigned to him. That man needs to embrace his art again and reevaluate everyone around him who suggested he not do that.
And I think you're describing in a much more detailed way the phrase you used to hear but never do now, which is be true to yourself.
There is no... This is very upsetting to say, and it hurts a little bit, but there is no true to yourself anymore. It doesn't seem like there is. People are what they want to portray to get attention.
Be true to yourself is the key to psychiatry, because the truth is, now they want to match one or another antipsychotic or antidepressant or anti-anxiety medicine to your symptoms. That can be very helpful. But they forgot the other part, like the 75%, which is you can literally hear voices or see visions based on being disconnected from your core, right? So you hear these things almost as echoes.
Don't spoil the delusion, Sin. Just lie to me. Hey, man, I've said it for a long time. With me, what you see is what you get. I am this person online, and I am this person offline. Sure, I'm showy, but that's just because I am literally doing a show. But this is how I am in real life, on the internet, everything. I am who I am. But a lot of people, not the same thing. I feel pretty confident that all the people I know and have worked with, they're the same people hanging out with them online as offline. But there's a fair group of people out there who their online persona is their whole thing. They turn off the camera. There's something else, or what they post on Facebook, what they post on Twitter. You guys know the kind of people I'm talking about. They are more worried about getting attention for themselves than being true to themselves.
Of your core self and their
And Pinky, he's adorable in person. Thank you, Pinky.
transmuted, and you can't make sense of them
Wait, so
anymore.
you're saying the way you structure society can cause mental illness?
There's no question. And the way we're structuring society right now, we're calling half the people or more believe that people might be born in the wrong bodies. That's a mass
Frank Cap, yes, that is exactly what I do. That this is exactly how I live my life.
delusion. I'm talking about transgenderism
Yes.
right now. Okay, I was the first one to say on national television that transgenderism wasn't actually people being born on the wrong bodies. It's a mental illness, right? It's not different than if someone came to you and said, I'm a CIA agent. Your first question would not be, what's your code name? Especially if it's your kid.
Right.
Right?
Fair.
And what would that be? It would be a storm that you'd say, oh my God, we're going to go through hell. For years, my child is psychotic. Let's figure out, did we somehow play a role? Can we unravel this story? All that's gone because, number one, we're suggesting, look at all the things. A country doesn't need a border to be a country. What? That's insane. Okay. The president, although there's dramatic evidence that he's compromised by foreign.
It is the national gaslighting on a federal level that we're just supposed to agree to, and that's all there is to it.
Foreign countries. He's not. And he makes decisions just in the interest of the United States. Delusion. Craziness. We're being asked to be crazy. And we're killing off psychiatry at the same time because psychiatry is a source of sanity. Right? So you look at the transgenderism, the president doesn't have dementia. His doctor says so. Well, that is another form of insanity. You're asking me to be delusional. And in order for me to be delusional, I must be cut off from myself or my soul. That's my anchor. And the anchor, again, being a symbol of God, Christianity, etc. Right? I'm unanchored now. I'm adrift. What do you do when you're adrift? You cling to anything that offers you safety, that you think offers you safety in a storm. The government.
Yeah. I don't fucking think so. I'm sorry, but I'm not relying on the government for my safety any more than I rely on them to wipe my ass or feed my fucking family.
That's what's up. Kill psychiatry. That's just a
Military contracts. No, I'm sorry. Let me phrase that a little bit better. Protecting the borders with the military and enforcing contracts should be the two main roles of government.
A little part of it. Kill people's anchor, their compass, their sense of self. Suggest to them, can you imagine the work it is for kids who are told in schools, which they are now, close your eyes. And I know this was done in Massachusetts in a school, I know. Whole school assembled, mandatory, close your eyes. And I want you to think about what gender you really are, not what you were born as, what you really
Start with your shoulders, guy.
are. Can you imagine the mental work, the incredible knots you're tying in
That's
people's psyches?
Jonestown right there.
He was good enough to say, let's leave the planet with Kool-Aid. I mean,
Yes.
at least he
I trust the government like I trust a free candy sticker on a van. A free candy on a van?
sounded completely crazy.
Oh, see, that's why I don't even bench anymore, dude. Can't even do it. I can't. I can't even fucking do it.
These people pretend to be sane and to be doing it in your interest. Well, we're freeing your kids. So if you go to Boston Children's Hospital today, and by the way, this is when I first resigned. I resigned from the American Psychiatric Association because they won't take a stand on this at all. But if you go to Boston Children's Hospital today or many other pediatric medical centers,
I'm looking on the Amazon right now. I can get a plastic welder, one of those little things that heat up the little metally curly bit. I can get one of those for a whole $30. I think I have one of those actually. Or I can get a MIG welder for portable, easy to carry, torch. Oh, what's that? 150? 139, 150. Yeah. I feel like I'd use it a lot.
and you're naive enough to think you're going there for help for your child who has said, I'm not a girl, I'm actually a boy, and I want to have a double mastectomy.
No.
If you don't toe the
Sorry.
line and say, let's go, let's start the testosterone shots and make
Hey, you're an adult. You do whatever you want. You can do whatever the fuck you want as an adult. Just don't make me pay for it. But children, nah, sorry. Like, it's been a big issue in my house with one of the children's not doing their homework just because they don't fucking want to. And why does it affect you? Because it fucking does. Do what you're told. You're the kid. No, you can't go cut your fucking balls or tits off. Do your homework. Stop trying to mutilate your genitals. Thankfully, the latter is not a problem in the Sinatra household, but same principle.
Katie into Ken. If you don't do that, you're going to be visited by the Department of Social Services the way I was visited by the DEA. And they're going to say, you're not going to be that child's parent. We're going to have a guardian ad litem because
that would be the motherfucking day, dude. That would be the day where the government says I could not parent my kid because I will not let them cut their genitals off. Yeah? You're going to come take them? Okay.
that child is not your daughter. It's your son, and you won't accept that. You must be delusional in order to function to some extent in a society that is asking.
You know, we talk a lot on the Sin and Sash channel about narcissistic behavior. I cannot, for the life of me, think of anything more narcissistic than somebody coming in and saying that they can raise your children better than you, and that if you are not doing it the way they say to do it, then it is child abuse. Harbor Freight has a flux core MIG welder for like $100, but it'll get the job done. check it out next time you're there, saying, well, if I had $100 extra bucks, I would check it out. It seems like something I would enjoy learning how to do. But as far as it goes right now, I still have to replace all my regular tools. So that's not in the cards, but I'll keep it in the back pocket. And I also really want to get Helldivers, too. I want to get that. That looks like a really fun game. I just can't fucking afford it right now.
You to remove yourself from sanity.
And needless to say, not one person who's mutilated a child, destroyed these lives, and repeated lies has had his medical license pulled, but you have. So, right. Like, how many of all the physicians in the United States, what you're saying, I think, is indisputable, and you'll be rewarded for it at some point, I hope, in this life. But how many physicians practicing now do you think would be willing to say what you just said out loud?
A handful. And, you know.
Self-shielding flux core does not need shielding gas. It saves money. Can someone... okay, hold on. I need to get a... Yeah, I think my computer can run it just fine. A flux core meg. I'm going to look that up.
When I first said it, I was on what I thought was friendly ground. And, you know, again, she's retraced those steps. But Megyn Kelly said, you're just spreading hate. When I said, don't let your kids watch Chaz Bono on Dancing with the Stars, they're going to turn this person into a hero, not a heroine, a hero.
Wait, $100? No. Chicago Electric 170 amp MIG flux cord welder, $200. Oh, never mind. There it is. MIG flux welder, $99. On min max. Ground, yeah. $100. Look at that. Ooh.
And your kids are watching.
Luna just got so excited.
And they may be thinking, this is a good way to get some attention or to torture my parents or lots of things.
Right.
Right. And I remember right after that, I ran to Roger Ailes' office. I'm like, dude, you're not going to believe what just happened. I was attacked on our air for saying
the stream where we just watched Sin Shop for Welders. Dude, the Sunday stream, the day when my tools got stolen, almost turned into a I'm going to make a list of everything I need to buy stream live. It was close.
Saying this about transgenderism. He said, but that's the truth.
I was okay, I just saw something else I need to get. I need to fucking... These scum fucks took my PVC glue. But, yeah, I had like Home Depot open in one tab, like, okay, I need these, I need these, I need these, I need like 2 of these.
Truth. Because he was a giant, right?
Yes.
And I said, okay, can we try to not have that happen? He said, yeah, absolutely. But,
Is your shoulder, like, in pain, guy, or is it just, like, uncomfortable?
I often think sometimes if there were more guys like that, and how'd they kill him, by the way? They killed him with accusations about sex. It's so crazy. Freud would be laughing his butt off, or is in the grave, if we ever said, the way that they take care of people who disagree with the status quo, which is about trying to...
Make sure you get enough widgets. Send widgets. I don't know. Fustonia's not making any sense in the chat, and he has, like, low HP, so someone fucking take him out.
Stop sanity. They accuse them of sexual things. He'd be like, well, yeah, people can't get their minds away from that. And there's all kinds of deep feelings between men and women about sex. If you want to destroy someone, just say that that person is a sexual predator. Look what happened to Trump 30 years ago in a department store. He supposedly attacked somebody. Right now, you have to be very careful, because what if I got sued? What if I said it wasn't true? I might get sued.
Isn't it weird how this Trump thing went everywhere, but the actual fucking provable thing that happened to Tara Reid was just completely ignored. No, it's not weird, but you know what I'm saying. It's fucking weird.
Sued by the plaintiff. They shut people up and they ask them to accept delusion as truth. And this sounds like a novel like 1984 because it is.
Well, I have to say it's a very noticeable trend. I haven't heard anyone else note it, but that people who get crossways with, say, the CIA seem to have like a higher than average likelihood of having kiddie porn found on their computers.
That
Yeah,
You
notice that?
exactly. Absolutely.
That's
And
pretty
by the way,
accurate.
this is one reason. There are many reasons
that was very spicy, but pretty accurate.
I love Donald Trump. But one of the reasons is because on national television during a debate for the first presidency that he will serve, I hope, he held up his hands and he said, and now they're hitting on my hands. And they're saying that because these are small, something else is small. And I'm telling you, there's no problem in that department. And I was up out of my seat. I'm like, Freud would be applauding madly because nobody can do that. You have to be a psychological giant to talk about your private parts on national television and say people say they're small, but they're not. Nobody can do that.
Could you imagine the fucking media outrage if someone said, yeah, Joe Biden, well, forget the fact that he's saying he's banging his wife still, and that implies the thing even works, but could you imagine if a news entertainer was like, you know, I think Biden's got a small dick? It would be fucking, the FBI would show up at their house.
That's
do
what
that,
a,
but
what
that's-
a fascinating reaction.
But that's a guy who will say,
Yeah, Fostonia says, do you see that, Chad? I'm still the stream boss. I don't know if they have noticed yet.
you know what? They're crossing the border in droves. We're building a wall. Yep, same guy. That's the guy we need.
Why do they call Trump psychologically fragile?
They call him psychologically fragile because it's a convenient way to attack people, to say, oh, he's not well. They also say he's psychologically fragile because if you're looking through a filter that is blurry and misdirected,
Soon
you might
may
see
the
his
cavemen come with birds and mice and some tasty numbs. One day when the critters come, we'll eat till our bellies are full.
Ooh, that's new stream boss. Zed the Snarky, not for long, Fostonia. Ooh. The man took down his own train just to give you a what for. Good work, Zed. Thank you very much, knocking us up to, what's that, 15% to goal. Nice. No. Yes. Nice work, Zed. Very good work. Thank you very much.
truth.
Zed with a little bit better HP, but definitely within striking distance, who then returns with bring it.
As him not being well. It's just the truth, right? When he said, even in the van, bad moment, in that trailer or whatever, when he said, when you're famous, you can do this to women.
Yeah.
Crass, he called it locker room truth, locker room talk. I might say, well, wait a second. It's very weird, but when you're famous and rich, why is it? I would at least open up the question, why is it that that's an aphrodisiac? Why do men or women allow more degrees of freedom if you're famous, strong, and rich? We don't know that. We should think about that. But what he was saying was joking about the fact that that's not been explained.
And it is true.
And it is true. So people say he's crazy. No. He just told you the truth, but you can't hear it. So you're going to call it crazy, right? The notion that you should vote with paper ballots and they should actually count them. This would seem to be rational, but it could, satisfy the criteria for the DSM-5 TR plus in the future. Well, why are you saying that? Why would you possibly think that there'd be any monkey business with an election? Now, again, you say things like that, and what they're trying to do is make everybody scared of saying anything true or anything that they wonder about as to whether it might be true. Donald Trump is partly the antidote to that because he just speaks the truth almost obsessively. It's almost an obsession.
Donald Trump's need to speak the truth is just... You can tell why people don't like him.
That he doesn't adulterate truth, which is why when people would say, well, I'm not sure that he likes minorities, I'd be like, are you kidding me? If you ever said to Donald Trump, I know this black woman who's like, she might be 0.05% more talented than this white male, but, you know, I think you should hire the white male because, you know, it's a white male. He'd beat the hell out of you. He'd be like, what, you want to cheat me out of 0.05% of talent? Are you kidding me? He won't have it because it's all about the talent. It's all about the truth.
And that's the sad part of the DEI push and all that stuff that we're in right now, is that these people don't care about talent. They care about wokeness. Talent doesn't matter.
And there's no hatred there at all for anybody.
And the numbers now show it, I think.
And the numbers show it.
Yeah. So, look, last question. First of all, let me just say I love how interested you are in what is true and how willing you are to pause and ask the first and most important question, which is it true? I mean, I think that, you know, if you're not willing to do that, then you're serving lies. It's that simple. But what can the average person, you just said that part of the antidote is Trump. But what, for the, you know, average person is not in control of who's president or of much else, actually.
Sad but true.
So how do you stay sane in a society that demands you lie and is pushing you toward mental illness, which is clearly where we live?
That's exactly right. And part of the antidote, there are several parts of the antidote. One is say what you think and take some lumps. It's okay. You're going to be stronger. Okay. I mean, not everybody can be Donald Trump and defy, you know, wrong-minded courts around the country and the rest of it. Okay. We don't have.
The Trump fanaticism here is a little much, but he's not saying anything too egregious yet.
To be that. But by the way, it's the biggest self-help course the world has ever seen. Just watch him and do some of that. That's going to be as good as Tony Robbins, or even a little better, right? I love Tony Robbins too, but you know, it's going to be just like that, and it's free. So just watch him do what he does. Get a dog.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, why? Because
I love these answers.
Right? Get a dog.
You're speaking my language.
Because the dog loves you, and you need to, and you'll have unconditional love for the dog, right? It's just the truth, right? The dog isn't lying to you, and you're not going to lie to the dog. I mean, it's big. Exercise. Why? Your body is important, right? I have a friend who talks about posture as the key to well-being. Be in your body. Why? Because
Posture's
they're going to
gotta
try
be
to
a
take
part
you
of
out of
it.
your body at every turn, right? And some of it's technology. Technology is primed to remove you from your body and just say, well, you're really just your profile on Facebook, or you're really just your avatar. Well, no, I'm really not. I really am connected here to my body, and I know it because I go for walks, or, you know, look what's happening. The world's trying to help us. The AMA tried to ban boxing. That's thought of as very quaint now, given MMA.
Yeah.
Because the world tries to reset. It's like, you know what? We better get back in our bodies. Let's have guys have to tap out before their arms or legs are broken. And people would say, well, that's grotesque. It's horrible. No. It's part of the antidote. We need it right now because otherwise we're going to be evaporated into technology, lies, delusions. Tell people you love them if you really do.
I do.
That's a wonderful
That's a good thing. Let people know how you feel about them.
antidote to falsehood. That's an amazing
Well, did you really get a send me a picture? I don't believe you.
thing, right? If anybody who has a kid, you'd give your left and right arm to save one of their hands. That's the truth. That's truth. Think about that. That'll help you. You might meditate. Meditation centers people. Why? Because it's about you connecting to God, really. I mean, it doesn't have to be a far out thing or an Eastern philosophy or anything else. It's just about you sitting there and realizing, you know what, I'm breathing, I'm here. And then there's some other nice tricks, like if you're feeling troubled, I like to tell people this, if you really have your back against the wall, think of yourself as sitting in a movie cinema watching your own life story. And I like to tell people, how many people, when Tom Cruise is in trouble, throw away their popcorn and say, let's get out of here. He's in a jam. Absolutely nobody. Everyone sits there and thinks the same thing. I wonder what's going to happen. When you're in pain and you've got troubles,
Love you,
all you
Fostonia.
really have to do to let God do the rest is just say, I'm going to sit here. I'm not leaving the theater. Anybody who's ever thought of, God forbid, taking his or her life, just sit in the theater. It's going to get better. And that's some of it.
Okay, so I've got 6, if I'm remembering this correctly. The first is to speak your mind. The second is to get a dog and experience the unconditional love of the dog. The third is to live in your body, get in touch with your body. You're a physical being. You're not just spirit or mist. Okay. The fourth would be to get some quiet and commune with God, or listen, meditate.
Yes.
Not doing too well on that front, but okay.
As you said. The fifth would be get some distance, some perspective on your life. Maybe it was just 5.
I'll add a 6th, which is allow yourself to know that you don't know.
Not doing too well on the last 2, but I got most of it, the other stuff done, yeah.
And, you know, one thing is my son, during all this trouble, said, Dad, you know, it doesn't seem like you're really dissolving. Like, why are you not more troubled? And I said, look, I am. I'm not showing you, because that's what dads do, okay?
Of course.
I said, but I also look at my own life a bit askance, and I think, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is for. And so if it turns out that at some point in your life, my son, someone thinks they have your back against the wall, and you look at them and you say, go F yourself. I saw my dad go through this.
Yeah.
Then it all was worth it. Times 10. And I didn't know
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I
for
might not
sure.
even be on the planet when that happens. So a little sense of mystery is good, and saying,
That's a real interesting way to look at it. You can't tell me shit. I watched this before. Yeah.
I don't know why this is happening.
Humility.
Humility, but there's a plan. I don't know the whole plan. It's okay.
Man, I know for a fact you are the most psychologically balanced and healthy psychiatrist I've ever met by far. I mean that. And I'm just grateful that you came. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me. Really, you were a good litmus test for whether I would speak my mind, and therefore you've been my therapist. It
For the
worked.
first and only time. Dr. Keith Ablow, thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.
That was a very interesting interview. We got one more that I want to get through tonight. I'm going to put it up to 1.25. It's about how the opposition in China, or in Brazil, anyway, you'll see.
Ago, we went to Brazil to cover the presidential election.
The opposition in Brazil from the Chinese government that helped take over.
Then in progress, the incumbent, President Jair Bolsonaro, was running against a former president, a convicted felon, who's very close to the government of China, called Lula. And as you wandered around the country, went to its biggest cities, you really got the feeling if this election goes to Lula, this place is going to, in very short order, become a police state. People are going to go to jail. Democracy is going to end. The media will no longer be able to report honestly and openly, and the Chinese government will have undue influence over Brazil. And that's a big deal, not just for Brazilians, but for the United States, because Brazil is the most significant country in the Americas after this one.
Maybe? Maybe.
It's huge. It's got enormous natural resources. It's got a well-educated population. There's a lot in Brazil. And so if it descends into darkness, that's a problem not just for Brazil, but for every country in this hemisphere. So the question is, 2.5 years later, a year and a half later, rather, what happened in Brazil? Lula won in an election that was very obviously rigged. And what happened to the country? So we thought we would get an update now with Eduardo Bolsonaro. He's the son of the former president. He's a very well-known legislator in Brazil, and he joins us on set now. Eduardo, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Tucker.
So looking down from here, from a vantage of thousands of miles, but at Brazil, it looks like it's no longer a free country.
Sure, not anymore. We have people got censored, not only in social media. You have people exiled living here in the United States. For example, I'll tell you the names to have no doubt about what I'm talking about. Rodrigo Constantino, Paulo Figueiredo, Alan dos Santos are 3 journalists that are living here in the United States. And as this,
Wait, but they're Brazilian journalists who cover Brazilian politics, but they're living here. Why are they here?
because
Well, it's like Ian Miles Chong covers American politics, but still lives in Malaysia.
they cannot work anymore in Brazil, and also because you always have the risk of be arrested by the Supreme Court. And to be honest, not the whole Supreme Court, but one justice called Alexandre de Moraes. He had opened an investigation for more than 5 years, persecuting usually conservatives. So these gentlemen, Alan dos Santos, Rodrigo Figueiredo, Paulo Figueiredo, Rodrigo Constantino, they are living here because they are shut down in Brazil. Alexandre de Moraes, this justice, he cannot even let this person has a Twitter or Facebook account in Brazil. If you are in Brazil and you want to see what they are posting, you need to turn on your VPN or be outside of Brazil.
Wait a second.
They're
How can
journalists.
okay? So the Biden administration is a great protector of democracy and human rights around the world. They tell us that every day, and
Yeah.
yet they're close.
Do you feel like our government is doing a good job at protecting other people? Because I sure as fuck don't.
Ally, the Lula government, is shutting down press freedom and forcing journalists into exile. Have they said anything about this? Has the State Department complained about any of this?
I never listened to something about that, but what we are doing, we are receiving some support from our other congressmen from the Republican Party. For example, Marjorie Greiner, Chris Smith, among others. We had some conversations last year, and we are expecting to this year come back to the Congress in a bigger delegation of Brazilian congressmen to have a hearing in a commission inside of the Congress to at least tell all around the world what is going on in Brazil. Because in Brazil, it's not worth anymore. You appeal. You don't have for who appeal. It's the Supreme Court suing people. They say that they are the victims. They accuse and they judge everybody. This is not a democracy anymore. I cannot say that, unfortunately. And you don't have where to appeal or who ask for help.
So just to get specific about what's happened and when. So it was the very last day. I think your father's term ended on New Year's Eve, 2022. I think that's right. December 31st. January 8th, you had your own January 6th.
Yes. This is that
That is very interesting.
excuse that they use to go after every conservative. That
So
Guys, remember, we will not have a show Friday. We did it yesterday. There will be no show on this channel Friday, so just keep that in mind.
almost a year to the day later, the United States government was involved in it as well, the Biden administration. You had a supposed attempted coup on the democratically elected government of Brazil, the Lula government, and conveniently a bunch of Lula's political opponents wound up in jail. Is that a fair summary?
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yes. And the funny thing, Tucker, is that they say that it was attempt of a coup, but in January, in a Sunday, no weapons were arrested. There was no support from police or armed forces. So, in fact, it was a protest that went far away. I do not agree to people breaking the doors of the Congress or the Supreme Court, whatever. But these people now is getting punishments of 17 years in jail. If you commit
17 years for
17 years.
protesting. And can I just say, it's pretty clear that your election was stolen by the Lula government. I think that's fair to say. From the outside, it looked stolen.
I don't think there is any doubt about that.
Yes, I have my opinion. This is a very sensitive issue.
No,
that
I know
have
it is.
to. I have to take care about my words, but what I can tell you is,
Why would you have to take care of your words?
you have a congressman that is in jail now because he made a video, Tucker. He made a video talking bad words for the Supreme Court. This man, a congressman, is in jail for 9 years. His name is Daniel Silveira.
Wait. He's in jail for criticizing the Supreme Court?
Yes, not only criticized, he said bad words. That's true. I would never do a video like that, but imagine, I don't know.
Bad words. Did he threaten violence?
Some, how can I say that? Talking shit things to the ministers.
Yes.
Your mother is this and that. You know,
Well,
things
you're allowed
like
to
that.
talk shit to people in power in a free country, aren't you?
Yes. Where you have the First Amendment respected, yes. But in Brazil, we have some articles inside of the Constitution that guarantee for senators and congressmen like me that you not receive any kind of
I just never thought we'd be here right now, honestly. Using the term talking shit and it being a possible crime on a Tucker Tuesday. It just, Crazy.
punishment about what we speak. It's say like we have a freedom of speech in Brazil, at least in the constitution, and the congressman is one step ahead because we cannot receive punishment about our words, votes, or whatever we say. But as this congressman is in jail now, and the things are getting worse.
Okay, I'm sorry, and I keep talking over your story. I'm just amazed that someone
I know that's
in
very
jail
impressive.
for criticizing the government. It's obviously not a free country just on the basis of that. But I said it was very obvious from our perspective, from the U.S. perspective, that your election was rigged with the help of the CIA. That was my conclusion.
There is a very good article in Financial Times talking.
I mean, we all know. We all know.
About the help of U.S. to guarantee the democracy in Brazil.
And by guaranteeing democracy, that would be guaranteeing the election of the left-wing candidate.
Yes, yes. And the thing is, there is so much power that the establishment did, for example, to avoid the printed vote amendment that we tried to approve in 2021. Why someone from the electoral court, they organize and they judge everything about the elections in Brazil. Why someone from the electoral court, the superior electoral court, as the president, Justice Barroso, came to the Congress and talked with 11 presidents of political parties, telling them to do not approve the printed vote amendment. Why someone works to we do not have more transparency in the election? It's strange. But as Tucker, in my position, I can tell you, I cannot accuse that the elections was frauded, but they cannot prove that it wasn't.
Okay, but
Well, it's not on them to prove that it wasn't. It's on you to prove that it was.
just to be totally clear, in a free country, you can have any opinion you want about an election because you're a citizen, right?
Now in Brazil, they consider it a crime.
So it would be a crime for you to say, yes, I think the election was stolen.
Yes, I could suffer a lot down there in Brazil if I come back.
Even though we know for a fact the CIA was tampering in the democratic process in Brazil, was playing a role in the election.
Yes, yes. You know, and one of the things why my father got ineligible in a record time right after Lula take office is because he had a meeting.
He was told he could never run again.
Yes, he is ineligible until 2026. We are trying to overturn it inside of the courts, but as you can imagine, it will be very hard to do that. I still have a hope. But anyway, he was turned ineligible because he had a meeting with ambassadors and talked with them about the electoral system in Brazil, how it works, and criticized some points. Normal thing. But before of this meeting of Bolsonaro and the ambassadors, the president of the Superior Electoral Court, he had the same meetings with these ambassadors.
Wait, so you're saying that your father, who's often been compared to Trump, has been declared ineligible to run again in the next election on the basis of complaints about the electoral system,
Yes.
and that you had a protest against a rigged election that was backed by the U.S. government, and that as a result of that, Lula's political opponents wound up in jail. I mean, this sounds like exactly what's happening in the United States.
Yes, yes. It's the
Have
same
you
thing.
noticed that?
Yes, I usually say that it's the same virus, but in Brazil it has unless antibodies. Actually, this is a phrase of the journalist Paulo Figueiredo. It's the same virus here, but imagine that in Brazil, the left wing, or at least the establishment, they fully control the Supreme Court. And who could do the check and balances and stop the Supreme Court to do that is the Senate. But the Senate, they don't take any kind of action against that. They have exactly the same speech of the Supreme Court justices. So in the end of the day, Brazilians are losing the hope to get back democracy, because if you use machines to vote and you don't have a way to at least recount the votes, you have to trust the system 100%.
What speed is this on, Sin? 1.25.
And
yeah.
then they don't let more transparency in the elections. How can we elect someone?
This is crazy to me. Like, I'm listening to this more than commentating, because this is the same shit that just happened here. And if you don't like it, you go the fuck to jail.
Bolsonaro, a conservative, a right wing, or someone outside of the establishment. This is the feeling that a lot of Brazilians have nowadays, unfortunately, in Brazil.
I mean, once you have electronic voting machines, you can't be certain that the system is real.
Yes.
Why do you have electronic voting machines?
I tried to avoid that. Once again, we approved in 2017 this printed vote bill. What is that? We use machines to vote, all right? This bill says that it was necessary to have a printer aside of the machine. So at least you could recount the vote when you have any kind of suspicion in the election. It was approved in 2017, a federal law, all right? On the next year, the Supreme Court said that this is unconstitutional. That's why in 2019, we started to do not only a bill to change the federal law, but amendment to change the constitution. And we would have the votes because this was never an issue of a right-wing or a left-wing politician. It was something that was used to get together all of the Congress. But then, as I said, the president of the electoral court came to the Congress, talked with 11 presidents of parties, and changed their mind. And the
So
amendment didn't go
if you have electronic
forward.
voting machines with no way to recount and no way to prove what the votes actually were, if you're in favor of that, clearly you're committing fraud. I mean, what would be the other reason to be in favor of that?
They say that it would be an anti-democratic comment of you, and they will shut it down in Brazil.
So if I was a Brazilian citizen and I was in your media and I said what I just said,
No, they would shut down your social media. It's exactly what happened with Paulo Figueiredo. Paulo Figueiredo is someone like you, Tucker.
Wait a second, I would not be allowed to say that in Brazil?
If you say it would be only once.
Only once.
Only once. Then they're going to shut you down. And if you keep doing, they send the FBI to your house. And if you keep doing...
This sounds very similar, huh? I can't be the only one noticing the similarities here.
They freeze your accounts. Just what happened with Paulo Figueiredo. That's why he's living here together with Alan dos Santos and Rodrigo Constantino. Paulo Figueiredo was used to have daily millions and millions of Brazilians watching him. Imagine you, Tucker, having like the best moment of your career in Fox News, and the Supreme Court justice says, okay, you cannot say that Lula is convicted. You cannot say that he has connection with Maduro and Daniel Ortega. You cannot say that he has ties with the PCC, the largest organized crime in Brazil. It happened. You can Google it. You're going to see that.
Yes, I can imagine that, if that's the question. That's the question. But I can't imagine living
Right
in a
to
society
jail,
where you're just
right
not
to jail,
allowed
right away. Right to jail, right to jail, right away.
Fake Gamer Cat, get a shamrock shake. Get nothing for Shelly. Be a man. Oh, that's tempting. That is very tempting. Thank you, Fake Gamer Cat.
say it anywhere. I mean, anywhere. So you're saying if I write that on X, if I broadcast it on a television channel, if I say it in a podcast, if I say it enough, I'll be shut down.
Yes, or even more than that. For example, when you've been in Brazil, you met Felipe Martins, right?
Yes.
Is the Jared Kushner of Jair Bolsonaro.
Yeah, I know him well, yeah.
Special advisor. This guy now is in jail.
Why is he in jail?
It's a good question. It's the same question that we do. And see, he's in jail because, at least what we see in the
Like
press,
literally in jail.
he accomplishing a preventive jail is what we say before the judgment. You are in prevent jail to guarantee that he's not making confused with the investigations, or to guarantee that the law will be applied against him so he can't run away. I don't know, in fact, what moved Alexandre de Moraes to send him to jail, but as is very usual in dictatorships, they go around the leader of the opposition movement, arresting people, sending the federal police or their, we say, SS guard, arresting and sending to the house of the other people. My brother, Carlos,
Yes.
he received the visit of the federal police. Everybody that's around Jair Bolsonaro are being arrested or receiving the federal police in their houses to do some research orders, warranties from Alexandre de Moraes.
Has it happened to you?
Not yet, but I think naturally one day it will happen.
Do you think you can stay in Brazil?
Probably not. Absolutely not. I want creamy deliciousness as well. It's not a gross shamrock shake, Fake Gamer Cat. Oh, you got us caught, Fake Gamer Cat. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
I don't feel that I can say everything that I want. Even if I'm now a congressman and the most voted congressman in the history of Brazil, former chair of the Foreign Affairs and National Defense Committee, and son of the former president. Because if they sent a congressman to jail because he recorded a video, they can do anything they want. That's why I'm telling you, I have to make sure about my words before, especially talk about election, and in the past also about the pandemic, vaccines and all of that. Because
you're not allowed to complain about vaccines?
they're going to say that you are anti-vaccine and you are committing a genocide. This is what they were using to talk about.
You're committing the genocide.
Yeah.
By questioning
Yes.
the vaccines that killed all those people. You're the genocidal maniac.
My father, he bought with the federal government budget, he bought more than 600 million vaccines. In the Brazil, you could even choose what brand of vaccine would like to receive. But Jair Bolsonaro only said, you take it if you want. It's up to you. And be careful because, for example, Pfizer, if you read everything that Pfizer advise you about the vaccines, I don't think you would take that. Because all of the Brazilians, we are in a poor country. What Brazilians go to a doctor before receive a shot? No one. And maybe if you have
Right to
problems with
jail.
your
Right to
immune
jail.
system,
Right away. Right to jail. Right to jail. Right away.
Fastonia, is this the same guy? Nice one, Fastonia. Very good.
and some other pre-sickness, maybe
Oh, we can smell it, Luna. We can fucking smell that shit.
you're going to die. And when you die, you never have an investigation to check if it was a consequence of the vaccine that you took. It's crazy. It's crazy. But this issue, you know a lot, because I see that it happens a lot here in the United States too.
What's amazing is how similar what's happened in Brazil is to what's happening here. It feels like you're a couple of years ahead of us. And it's even more amazing that the Biden administration and the government of China have played such a big role in it. And let's end on this.
It's like the smell before a storm.
China was a big issue in your father's campaign, I remember.
Mm-hmm.
China wants Brazil's natural resources. China already owns a lot of your infrastructure, your power grid, et cetera.
Food, soya.
Food, exactly. What role has China played, do you think, in what's happening now in Brazil?
Now they are free to do whatever they want because Lula consider them an ally, and they consider U.S. the imperialist of the world. You know, Lula is a old-fashioned communist. That's not a coincidence that during his second mandate in around 2008 or 2009, China became, for the first time after, I don't know, maybe 1 century, the #1 trade partner of Brazil. Because in the whole history of Brazil, it was used to be United States.
Yes.
But not anymore. This is also very weird how U.S. can do a campaign to guarantee the democracy, as the Financial Times told, supporting Lula. When we were always opened, even during the Biden administration, to be together with them. It's not a problem for us. I want to do trades and business with U.S. way more than with China, because China, you know, do business with U.S. or any other country here in the Western Hemisphere is not the same thing to do business with China.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the current president, he doesn't think like that. He thinks that we have to be close of China because
But why would the Biden administration be so supportive of Lula when he's anti-American?
I think because
I think we know why. Fuck yeah. Thank you so much, Fastonia, with the wick. Nice. Oh, that's that good shit. Stream boss again, bitches. Wick style. Nice one, Fastonia. Thank you very much. Yes, sweet, sweet devastation. And that is a hell of a hold on the stream boss. 305,000 HP. Good work, sir. Good work. Let's get a big thank you to Fastonia out in the chat. Very fucking good work. And we're like almost 40% to Yeet and the Crackheads.
they are both left wings, ideology. This is the connection. It's a craziness connection, I guess. Because if you really think in the Americans, you should never do that. I'll tell you, it's here in the United States, sometimes I see debates talking about a possible third world war or a conflict with China, right? Brazil is the #2 in the world when you talk about exports of iron. The 4th largest food producers of the world, with more than 200 million people in our population. And we have a lot of oil, more than even some of Arab countries.
Yes.
Way more. In a war, what would you like to have? Energy, oil, iron to do the war machines, food
Yes.
to feed your soldiers, and everything. Now, if you start a war now, I will tell you, the Brazil administration would be together with China against the United States.
Yes.
So this, I think it was a wrong policy, or at least you didn't, as administration, you didn't pay attention about Brazil.
Yeah, fake gamer cat's gonna need that napkin.
And China is doing with South America the same that they did with Africa. So if you keep not looking carefully about what is going on in South America, maybe you are going to have more and more problems, more and more people going to the US borders. If you look to Venezuela, about 10 million people from Venezuela run away from the country. Some of them, they come from Mexico trying to come here by your borders. Brazil is like 8 times more bigger than Venezuela. I'm telling you that if Brazil turns itself a Venezuela, you will suffer way more problems here in the United States. And for sure, not only the borders, drug dealers, supporting terrorism, it will be a risk for you. Sure.
Eduardo Bolsonaro, thank you very much.
No, thank you, Tucker, to the opportunity to talk to all of the world about what is going on in Brazil. You have such more other things happening. Only to finish, please search for the judge Ludmila Lins Grillo, who is living, a Dutch judge living here in the United States too. And Alexandre de Moraes freezed her account in Brazil, so not even her salary he's receiving anymore. And more and more Brazilians are going to ask for asylum here, unfortunately. But we think that the change can come from the United States in this very important year.
I hope so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, that is it for us this evening. Again, I apologize about the little bit of a late start. I had to deal with some shit that couldn't be helped too much. But make sure you are around for the Sin and Sash stream tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern on the Sin and Sash channel. And then the AAA on Polydubs channel, supposedly at 5:30 on his channel. Have a good weekend, son. I'll see you tomorrow, and then maybe I'll do a pop-up stream Thursday. I don't know. But I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Thank you.